Live from the ValdostaHomeSales.com studios, it is The Running Theory with Rick and Rob. Ho, 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 ho.
Oh my gosh,
we are
we're
back.
It's the holiday edition.
Where have you been?
Man, it's been a long, strange trip, let me tell you. Gosh, you know I had COVID, and I've been out for 3 weeks, man. I had COVID for basically 2 weeks, and then, of course, it's been a week of recovery. So I haven't ran a step in like 3 weeks. You know, we ran that Sunday morning, we ran the 10 miles. Well, I ran 10 miles. And then it was killing me. You know, the 10 miles was just really pushing me. And I was wondering something. I said, something's going on here. But I went to work the next day, and, you know, I felt all right at work until the end of the day. I got the feeling kind of weird. I was going to run that evening. But I left work, and I got in my car. I was dressed out to run. I got in my car, and I said, man, I just don't feel good. And by the time I got home, I had like a 99.7 temperature, and I felt pretty awful. And it went downhill from there.
So, COVID. So you were one that had symptoms.
Yeah, I had symptoms. You know, the thing about me was I didn't have any respiratory issues besides a minor cough, no GI issues, just achy, flu-like symptoms, beat up, just no energy whatsoever. I mean, walking to the back porch, walking to the kitchen and get a drink just completely zapped me. So it took a long time to get back. And, you know, the thing about it is, you know, you go through that first week and you feel awful, and you get that second week and you feel awful. I mean, it's like you just feel terrible right up until that whole 10-day period. And it's like, man, I just don't think I'm going to get back and get better. And that's the thing, it's a little depressing. But I don't know. I hope to get back to it next week and kind of get going again. It's going to have to be slow. By the way, did you guys run Sunday morning?
Oh, yes.
How far?
I ran 5 1/4. I've
That's a
been
good
taking it easy. I hadn't been as running as much. You know, the holidays got to me, and the cold weather got to me a little bit. And after you called me, and you and Pappy were talking about it earlier, you called me on that Tuesday, and then I'm like, man, we ran together on Sunday. And so every little, you know, for the past week, every little itch or tickle I get in my throat, I'm like, must be COVID.
I don't blame you, man. I'm telling you.
Because I'm one of the few
Yeah.
that hasn't tested positive.
Man, I hope you don't.
But you know what? The week of Thanksgiving, we had a fluctuation in let me get this off the screen here. We had the fluctuation in temperatures. Every time we had the fluctuation in temperatures, you know, my allergies kick up. And then I was at home for a few days. And so, you know, just being in the house is not good to breathe inside air. But I was out and I was, you know, doing lawn work and I was doing all this because I had a couple of days off.
Right.
And I think that kicked up my allergies too.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. You know, the thing is, with this flu season and everything, you don't know what you got. You know, I mean, you may have COVID, you may have something else. You don't know because strep throat's going around. I think the flu's going around. So, heck, I was hoping for the flu. When I went and got tested, I said, maybe I got the flu.
Yeah.
Because that's what it felt like. But,
which, you know, one of the twins actually tested positive for the flu.
Oh, I didn't realize
and she's like the only person that I did. And I think it was a false positive because we took her in on a Friday because I didn't want to wait till the weekend and then it get worse. She'd been like a little puny for a couple days. And so it's Friday morning, you know, I better take her in so I don't have to go up to like urgent care somewhere on the weekend.
Right.
And so they tested her, and like it's like as soon as we got back from the doctor's office, she didn't have a fever anymore. She was fine.
Wow.
And so we never even
Wonderful.
gave her like the Tamiflu or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, did she really have the flu?
A lot of false positives going on over there. I don't know, man. But I'm glad she wasn't sick, though. Thank goodness.
But, you know, that being said, Janie is in the hospital right now with the flu, my mother. And so she's like, you know.
Yeah, your dad was just
COVID is real. It's real.
I'm telling you, you don't worry about it till you get it. And then
Yeah.
it's like, man, it's bad news. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
It looks like you lost a little weight.
Well, yeah, I lost all that weight when I did that 31-day running streak during when COVID had shut everything down. Well, I gained the 10 pounds back, and now I'm not back down to where I was, but I've lost several pounds. Yeah, I've found out.
And I have several friends that this week, I don't know if it was just a spike, and I don't know.
You know, the thing about it is, you know, the cool thing about my case was I didn't lose my appetite.
Mm-hmm.
I still ate, but, you know, and I didn't lose my sense of taste or anything, but nothing was like phenomenal. You know, I mean, it wasn't like when you eat a meal and you say, oh my gosh, this is so great. I didn't have that going. Whatever I ate was just sustenance. It wasn't like it wasn't like great, but I'm back. I'm back now.
Which one of our running friends, I won't mention his name on the air because I don't know if people want people's business put out there. Do you want people to know that I'm at home with COVID or
Yeah,
I don't know if it has a stigma about it or what. But he texted me today and he said that he lost his smell and his taste.
That's a classic sign right there.
And which he'd called me this weekend. I think he tested positive on Friday. He called me Friday or Saturday and told me that he was positive.
Well, I wish
no other symptoms.
Yeah.
I mean, he was out running and then he noticed that he had a little bit of a cough and a little bit of a congestion. And
the thing about it is, if you're in shape, if you're fit, if you don't have any existing issues, you're going to survive COVID. I mean, you're going to make it. I mean, the survival rate is up there, super up there. But it's just a rough road, man. I mean, to get back is tough.
So you were out of work.
I was out of work for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. When was the last time you did not work for 2 weeks?
Man, I haven't been off in 2 weeks in my whole career. I don't think in my whole working career. I don't think.
And I do have to send a shout out to your wife, Sandy Register, because I called her today, and Robin had dropped off some stuff for Janie at the front, and then Janie's like, I don't think it'll ever get here. And so I called Sandy, and I said, Sandy, do you mind going down there and checking it out? And Sandy went down there and I guess ran it up to the nurses up there. So
it's good to know people in high places.
Shout out to Sandy.
That's what I always say. It's good to know people in high places, right?
Yeah. Like the fourth floor.
Exactly. That's right. Are we? I can't talk. Do we have our guest?
No. Okay. No. Ask him if he needs me to resend him the link.
Let's see here. He's like he might have sent me one. Let's see here. Did he send me something? Let's see here. Let me back up here just a minute. Let's see what we got.
But I got the link here, and I can send it to him.
Oh, do we have a meeting code?
Let's see. Passcode. Let's see. Passcode 712468.
468. 712-468. Okay. He should be coming on with us just a minute. Our guest today is Mr. Random. He's I kind of found him on Instagram. I don't know him or anything. He's a Londoner with a New York state of mind. So that'd be interesting to find out, what his history is and where he's from and that sort of thing. I've watched some of his videos on Instagram, and he does have an accent, so he'll class us up a little bit today. And I think if I remember right, that he ran like a 107 10 miler. So he was looking along pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, not too bad. But he posts a lot on Instagram, and unfortunately, I just went through and liked a lot of his stuff. I haven't really been doing much at all on Instagram or Facebook or anything. I'm out of the loop big time, so I got to get back to doing that. But it seems awful convenient, that you start liking somebody when you have them on the show. But nonetheless, we're glad to have him. Let's see if we can get him on here.
I'm gonna send him another link.
Okay.
Let's see. Invite. Okay, I think I sent him another invite here, so hopefully he will get it, and we'll be on shortly.
Sending you another link.
So, anything else? I mean, I've been running a little bit, a couple days a week. The 5.2 went with. There was a pretty good little crew that ran out on Sunday, and we had a good time. It was the Mazurkowitzes, Pollyanna, and Brandy.
Everybody do kind of the same distance?
Well, it was all different because Martha's and Sandra came out, but Martha's coming off an injury, of course. So she only did 2, and everybody, and then me and Rick he's tiling his floors this weekend, and so he didn't want to go too terribly far. And so we did 5 1/4.
Yeah.
And then I think Brandy and Polly did about 8.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
So it was, and that's what's good about our running crew is because you don't have to go 10 miles. You have different, little places where you can exit out. And,
If you show up, they will come.
yeah.
Right? We're building the band. I mean, we're building the group again, man. People are starting to come out.
Yeah.
I'm planning on coming back. I'm going to come back one day. Hey, did Wesley show up?
No.
Okay, all right. We got to shout out to Wesley. I mean, he came out one day and gave us a little hope. So.
He did come out one day, and he texted me and said that he wasn't going to make it Sunday. So,
Okay, so you shot him a new link.
Yeah. We'll just wait to see. But so what was your treatment process through the COVID?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they put you on like vitamin D and some other vitamins and such, which I don't even know what it was. My wife just kept feeding me the pills every day because I wouldn't take them. I mean, if it was up to me to take them, I'd forget. But the only thing I really got was Tylenol, and then I took Benadryl because I had a bad rash. I broke out into this rash on my back. And it kind of came up my neck to the side of my face a little bit. So I was on Benadryl to kind of ease that a little bit. But I told the doctor when I went back on the second week and said, I've got this rash on my back. And hey, that's the new sign. Now, if you got a rash, that's also a sign of having COVID. So they're starting to see that in people.
Which I read that they had one of these football teams that was playing, I think it was an NFL team, and they got canceled because of people having COVID. And what is that? And they went back and they tested everybody, and in 2 weeks there were like 4 different strands of COVID.
Yeah.
But I hear good things about, this is me talking about things that I have no idea about. But there's a lot of interesting things with the vaccine that's coming out.
Right.
Because it kind of manipulates your DNA. Tell me if I'm wrong. If somebody wants to call me on my cell phone and tell me.
Yeah.
But they don't give you, like, it's not like the flu vaccine where they actually take a little kind of dose of the flu and put it in your body, and so you have little flu-like symptoms.
Yeah.
They like put it in there, and it kind of makes you think that you have the vaccine, but they don't really put COVID in you, and your DNA kind of manipulates to counteract that problem.
Wow, that's crazy. That's above my pay grade.
I know.
Man, I don't know
it's like,
think of this stuff. I tell you what, though, I don't want to take the vaccine. I don't want to be one of the first crew to take the vaccine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to who knows, man, what's going to happen? Be getting one of those ads like, if you were involved in this, test 10 years ago, you may be entitled to whatever. I don't want that happening.
But it makes me think back that I don't know. It's a weird year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad there's a vaccine out there, but I just would rather wait until later. I mean, but
now that you've had COVID and survived, you're like, oh, I can take on the world.
I feel that way because they say you got like 90 days, and somebody can call me about this too if I'm wrong about this, but I think it's 90 days before you can get it again. And then what I've seen so far is people who get it the second time, they have antibodies still in most cases, and it's not nearly as bad. In some cases they don't even know they got it. So, do you feel like a relief that you've had the vaccine? And well, I kind of was one of those that felt like, hey, I can't get this, and I felt like even if I get it, it's not going to be very bad. I'll be able to do all the things I normally do. Man, no. I mean, when I got it, I thought, well, even though I had a fever initially, I said in 3 or 4 days I'll feel better. I'll be over this. I'll be ready to go. I mean, but yeah, so in that case, I'm kind of glad, or rather, I'm kind of glad that I had it now because I'm over the hump. So I'm good for Christmas. I'm good for 90 days. And if I get it again, it seems like, from what I've seen, the symptoms are way less, a lot more minor than initially. Let's see here.
I wonder.
Are you sending it to FEARONSV@gmail.com?
I think yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Ba-da-ba.
Tell you what, can you call us?
Yeah, he can call us in.
Let me shoot him our number. What's your number, Ron?
229.
I'm sorry. Let's see. 229. Okay.
561.
561.
3810. Tell them to call us, and we just do an audio.
561. What's the other?
3810. Anybody else who wants to call, 229-561-3810.
3810. I should know that number, you know.
And I tell you what I'll do, just to what's his name again?
Mr. Random.
Mr. Random. That's not him. But let's see. No, it has to be something different. This is great radio here.
Hey, if it didn't go wrong, we wouldn't know what to do. I mean,
no, we definitely not. Mr. Random running thoughts. Come on, you got to know these people.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Dead air, man. It's like a Dan Random.
But he's followed by the Peachtree Runner.
Yeah, no, that's how I found him. Yeah, you know, I wanted to thank her because she's kind of introduced us to some new folks. And have you been watching her videos lately? I mean, she's always super entertaining. Yeah, she's
getting
good.
Down with it. But yeah, I didn't run. Wasn't able to run the Thanksgiving Day race because it was one of those that I was like, one of those days where I was like, darn, I must have COVID. Something's going on here.
Speaking of races, let me ask you, did we miss the Jacksonville race we were talking about?
I don't think I have time to train for it anymore.
No, me either. I'm definitely not there.
But, the Gate River Run's still out there, and I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
How about Snickers?
Snickers is still out there.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But see, if I had to
I
had to choose one, it would probably be the Gate River Run. Now the Snickers Run is easier to run because it's in Albany and there's less people and it's less crowded. So that might be the safer choice as far as, if that's 2021, but if it's anything like 2020.
Yeah.
So were you able to make it out to vote?
I did vote. Yeah, I actually voted before I came down with the COVID. Me and Sandy went and voted and got that done. And I guess there's one more vote, right? We got to vote again if you choose to, coming up. Politics, man, politics.
But yeah, I went out election day and was able to vote on.
Oh really? Okay.
On election day.
Well, that's good. You're keeping it real, man. You did it on election day.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
Obviously.
And you know what? Today was the first day of early voting because I saw all the cars lined up today.
Yeah, I have to apologize, Mr. Random. I don't know what's going on here. I shot him your number, 229-561-3810. And he may call us here in just a minute, or he can shoot us his number and we'll call him. But yeah, I don't know what's happened. But.
Oh well, it's technology. We can always talk amongst ourselves.
I'll be glad when all this stuff is done and we can, which I know Mr. Random couldn't be here, and a lot of our guests can't be in studio. So I guess the Zoom is kind of a cool thing, I guess. But it'd be nice to get some guests back in the studio,
Yeah, but if people are wondering why that we had such a delay, which we were planning on, taking the holidays, we were planning on taking Thanksgiving week.
Really, there's no way around it for me.
But it's one of those things that we all get busy during the holidays. People are watching. And I hate to have an extended break the way we did.
Right.
But you know what? Breaks are good.
That's true. Well, I just really had to do it this go around. For me, working all, I just pretty much, there's a lot of Mondays I can't be here right now. But I think next year after the new year, I think we'll hit the ground running. We'll line up some guests, we'll get going, we'll be on a tear, man. I think it'd be good.
And I'm trying to get back to where our screen was, but and yeah, we're always looking towards guests and looking towards the future.
Okay, here's his number. You want to give him a call?
Okay,
my phone is almost dead, or I'd call him.
Okay,
it's 440-794.
Oops, what's going on here? 440
794 799 4466.
That's
like a
way
lot of
too many
That's
numbers.
Too many numbers, isn't it? It says, okay, I don't know. Let's see. That's the number. I mean,
Oh Lord, that's a lot of numbers.
yeah. Let me shoot him back another message here.
But there are a couple more races coming up. There is, I know there's a Christmas Eve race coming up. There was the Christmas Day Parade race, or the Christmas Parade. They had one before the Christmas Parade that Todd Smoot put on. And it had about 100 runners in it. And I used to enjoy running that race when you went because you went the parade route, and you went from Winn-Dixie all the way downtown along the parade route, and people were starting to get there, and people were cheering you on. And by the time you got downtown, it was just a nice festive atmosphere. And this year it did a little bit different, but you started downtown, and I think you finished downtown, so you must have done some kind of loop to come back around. And so that was always nice, because I remember more than one year running downtown from Winn-Dixie and then running back to your car at Winn-Dixie. So you would run from Winn-Dixie, run downtown.
Yeah, I've been ran that race before. Yeah.
Celebrate, we're out. And then you're like, okay, I have to do my cool down run, and I'll just run all the way back down.
Oh, it ends downtown. Okay, maybe I haven't ran that before.
Yeah, this one ended downtown, and by the time you got done, the parade had started.
Yeah.
And so you were kind of running against the parade and kind of running through people and crowds to get back to where you parked. And so that was always fun.
Okay, he's asked that we set this up for next week. I guess we're not getting through.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fine.
Let's do it next week, and we'll have because we are running a little bit short. We had a couple little logistics issues, and but now I have everything set back up in the studio, and we can do it next week.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. Let's see. Sorry for the issues. Is next week Christmas?
Not Christmas. No, it's Christmas week.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'll be working.
Golly, quit your job.
I know, man. I know.
Tell him we'll set it up for later.
Okay, let's see. So, I wonder if he's listening. Let's see. Sounds fine.
But we got one viewer out there holding on.
Thank you.
It might be me on my phone though.
Well, Charlie used to always listen to us. I don't know if he's still with us or not.
Charlie, are you out there? Please post. But what do you think about the hair? I got my long hair growing again.
Well, I like it. I like the long hair. I wish I could grow some long hair, but yeah, I like it.
And I wish I could grow a beard.
We envy each other, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a fan of long hair on guys. I think it's pretty cool. Both my sons have long hair. Of course, it looks good on them.
But what color is their hair these days?
Well, it's all normal now. It's natural. Yeah, they're natural. They haven't done anything. Carter's got a lot of blonde in his hair. So when it gets longer, I mean, it's kind of like that Sandy. He's got all that blonde and auburn and everything. Her hair is beautiful.
But I got my wife keeps asking me when I'm going to go get my hair cut, and I'll have to admit something right now. I had a streak going on. You talk about running streaks?
Yeah.
I had a streak. I must have went 4 or 5 months, probably longer than that. I'd say close to about a half a year without wearing long pants.
You went a year without wearing long pants?
Long pants, yeah. I was wearing shorts every day.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time
great.
I wore pants. And so today, unfortunately, I had to go to a funeral. And so out of respect, I put on my long pants.
That's pretty good. I don't man. That's good.
And it feels weird. Actually, I had to go buy some because I don't know where any were.
Yeah.
And so I had to go buy a pair of pants.
You didn't even have any long pants you can wear?
I don't know where any long pants are.
So this is recent. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I don't know where like, cause I don't remember the last time I wore a pair of jeans, and
Well, I don't wear. I never wear jeans.
I don't remember the last time I wore any long pants.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they were probably dress pants because I tend to like the dress pants a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because, the dress pants these days, which I don't know if you wear them, but I wear them, they're like so thin, and then they have like the flex fit.
Right.
And it's not like your old school, like, like, elastic waistband
You have the
type.
buckles on the side.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. You can't even tell they're like flex. I mean, but they're like more like athletic shorts than they are pants.
Right.
Because everything flexes and you can bend and you can stretch and you can move, and they're so light that I don't mind wearing like dress pants.
Yeah,
I would rather wear dress pants than khaki pants.
Yeah, we know I dress up for work sometimes, so I'm pretty used to wearing a shirt and tie, and I'm comfortable like that. It doesn't bother me, but but like you though, if I'm not at work, I mean, man, I got shorts all the time.
Well, because I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I tell people, I give them my card. I'm like, listen, this is just proof that at one time I owned a coat and tie. But if you call me up, I'm not going to be somebody I'm not.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to be me.
And
most people love it.
I was going to say, it probably cause you no problem.
Yeah. And I'm like, listen, I wear shorts. If that's a problem.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, if you want me to crawl underneath that house right now to go look at something, or if you want me to crawl in the attic, I'll do it.
Here's my prediction, Rob. I've been thinking about this before, not just because this came up, but it's interesting that it did. I think that within the next 15 years to 20 years, a shirt and tie will be obsolete.
Well, you know what? When we started our family business and growing up, my father wore a tie every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day. And now, he'll show up in tennis shoes. He'll usually wear khaki pants or dress pants, but he might wear tennis shoes. I don't even know if he owns a tie anymore. He'll wear a polo. He doesn't go like I go, but but he'll wear a polo or a button up.
Yeah.
But it's casual.
Yeah.
Gone are the days where you need to wear, the coat and tie every day.
Right.
I remember my dad wearing a coat and hanging it on his chair. And, I still go to offices because I deal with lawyers all the time, and they're dressed up pretty nice, But I've been to lawyer offices that wear, collared shirts and jeans also. So I guess it's just, even that is particular to each office.
Right.
Because it's not uncommon to go into a law office and see, basically dressed down khakis in a collared shirt.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For a lawyer.
I hate that. I hate that that's going away, though. Because I don't necessarily think I'd want to be obligated to wear a shirt and tie every day. Mm-hmm. But there is something to it,
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to a meeting, like amongst, even sounds strange, but amongst other realtors, I will dress up.
Yeah.
If I'm going to something,
you have like your dress shirt with your shorts on.
I wear dress pants but then I wear like a polo, but like a nice polo, like a Nike polo, or like something,
sure.
Something more upscale. But yeah, I mean, I don't dress like unprofessional. I won't wear shorts with holes in them.
Right.
If I get a paint stain on one, then it's not wearing anymore.
Man, look at athletic wear these days. I mean, athletic wear looks good these days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and think how much expensive it is. I mean, just going and buying like a brand new Nike or Under Armour shirt now, it costs you as much as going to buy a dress shirt.
Yeah.
You're talking about $40-50 for a shirt.
Yeah.
If you buy it right off the rack at Dick's or Sports Academy, or
well,
Academy Sports or whatever.
I'm a thrifty shopper.
Yeah. Most of us are. I mean, most of us don't buy it like fresh off the rack, but at least
but
I don't.
I tell you what.
Unless I really like it. If I really like it,
I must have been listening to what's the guy's name who's the thrifty shopper, and he does Clark Howard Radio.
No, no. Yeah.
And he talks about, but my favorite place to clothes shop, where I buy all my pants. No, I have several family members that love Goodwill, and I'll pick up something at Goodwill. I usually don't pick up clothes though, but Sam's Club. I buy my shorts from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
And I buy my pants from Sam's Club. and I buy my shirts from Sam's.
Is that where you
Club.
went and got your pants?
Yes.
Yeah, you went to Sam's. Okay.
$26.99.
That's a good deal, man. Yeah.
For a dress shirt,
Yeah.
collared shirt. It's the one I'm wearing now, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed when I came, you looked pretty good, man.
And my dress pants, and they're like Haggard or somewhere like that. They're not super name brand, but
Right.
they're good name brand and
They look
good
good,
quality.
yeah.
But they have the shorts that I like that are like dress shorts, but athletic style. Like when I say athletic style, like the thin, like sweat wicking type shorts.
Right.
And so I usually pick up a pair of those, $12.99.
Oh my gosh.
Bargain shopper.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Everybody hold the phone.
Okay.
We forgot the most important thing.
Oh yeah. What's
It's
that?
your birthday, man.
Oh Lord! I
Happy
almost
birthday.
forgot.
I forgot this morning and I forgot on the show. I mean, it's your birthday.
It's okay.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
And 41. I'm just warming up to the 40s.
Gosh, if I think really, really hard and really struggle, I can remember back when way back when I was 41.
Yeah.
Man, that was a long time ago for me.
Yeah,
Being
it
41.
wasn't that long ago.
God, dude, yeah, it was. It was a long time ago. I mean, I'm like, well, I don't know if we should get all into this, but how much older I am than you, but
Well, you know what?
Because everybody thinks we're probably the same.
People probably yeah, but you know what? Once you get to a certain age, isn't everybody the same age?
I think so. I think it's your mindset. I mean, of course, your body's going to change, but your mindset. Because everybody I hang out with. And I got some friends in Tifton I hang out with that are basically my age, and I've got some friends that are a little bit older, but like all you guys are quite a bit younger than me, but I hang out with y'all. I mean,
but
somewhat.
I mean, we have runners in between 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
And then I'm in my 40s now. I don't know if we have anybody in the 30s. The 30s we're lacking on the 30s.
Not that I want to
probably in Tifton you have some 30-year-old
yeah,
runners.
we got a 60 and 70-year-old guys that are running strong. I mean,
but I tell my kids, I'm like, you don't understand. See, you go from kids, and this is the way I look at kids and the way I look at teenagers. I'm like, you're only this age, like you're only a toddler a couple years, and you're only baby for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Then you're a toddler, and then you're a kid, and then you're a preteen, and then you're a teen.
Yeah.
And then you're an adult. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you have like these like small sliver of pies at the first of your. This is him.
Oh, did he call? Okay.
Let's see if we got him. Hello.
Yeah, I'm it. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Random.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, man.
Yes,
How are
it
you?
is.
Mr.
I'm
Random.
all right. How you doing?
Awesome, man. We're glad you called.
Yeah.
That's great.
How's things going?
That's great. Have you been listening to the show at all?
I'm looking at the show right now. It's on the live stream.
Okay. We usually banter for a while anyway, so it's been perfectly fine. But I'm glad you called.
Okay.
So I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. I saw on your Instagram page that you're a Londoner with a New York state of mind. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you living?
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from London now.
Oh, you're in London. That's why the number, I guess, because we looked at the number and we're like, man,
Yeah,
there's too many
yeah.
numbers here. Okay.
Here we got his
That was a
Instagram page.
It's a transatlantic phone call, so we couldn't understand the number. So I kind of thought that, but I said, I'm not sure. So you're living in London again?
Yeah. So I grew up in London. Then I moved to the States as a teen. I lived in New York for about 20 odd years, and then moved back to London about 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
So that's why I like to say to people, I'm a Londoner with a New York state of mind. So most of my formative years was in New York. So yeah.
That's great. So did you glean a lot from New York? Did you take anything back?
Yeah, everything really. A lot of people get confused about where I'm from. When I first moved back to London, everybody thought that I was putting on the American accent, not knowing that I lived in New York for quite some time. So, yeah, and then just the way of thinking and the way of life is like I'm more used to like the New York kind of way of thinking, New York way of life, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, what took you back to London?
So my mom lived in London, and my dad passed away in New York. So that's hence why I moved back. Yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I moved back to London. So all those pictures you're looking at, all parts of London. That's like a church on the River Thames, like a Thames Path. So it's not too far from where I live.
So how far are you from Buckingham Palace?
I'm probably about 5 miles.
So in good running distance, right? I mean,
good running distance.
Yeah, no problem. No problem to zip down there and zip back.
No, not a problem. It's a good trek, but it's not a problem zipping there and zipping back. So yeah.
Hey, when you were in New York, where did you live in New York? Were you in Queens or?
No, I lived in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
So
okay.
I lived about half an hour train ride from 34th Street. So
Okay,
I lived about 5 stops from Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
So yeah.
I've done a little running in New York, but it's primarily been in Central Park. I haven't really run the streets, so to speak. But it seems like it would be a cool place to run.
Yeah, funny enough, I never did a lot of running in New York at all, except for when I went to college. I did track, but as far as like running out on the streets and around the streets of New York, I never really did that much.
So you've become more of an avid runner since you've been back in London?
I guess more, running around the streets and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a little bit different in London. There are a lot of run commuters. So a lot of people will run to work when everybody's working in the offices and stuff like that. Right. So it's a different kind of vibe. And then there's the way London is set up. There's a lot of open spaces like big parks. So we have Regent's Park, we have Hyde Park, which is similar to like Central Park, and then there's other like big parks spotted around different areas of London. So you can always find like nice open spaces to run around.
It's always intrigued me when people live in these really cool places, because when we go on vacation, we're in South Georgia. So when we go on vacation, I go to New York. I haven't been to England yet, but I'd love to go. But those are things you think about and want to do. And say, man, I'd just love to get out there and run down the street, and just so you can say you've done it. But for you to actually live there, it kind of intrigues me that people actually do this every day, and they don't really think anything about it because it's just a daily grind.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I moved back to London, that's how I really learned how to get around the city. To be honest with you. You know how it is when you're in the big cities. You kind of like jump on the trains. You either jump in your car,
right.
And you know how to get around by that. But you don't really get to see this true sights of the city. So most of the places, when I first moved back, I kind of learned how to navigate around the city by actually running first, and then after that, jumping on the bus and maybe by the train. So yeah.
Well, as a runner now, what's your distance? So what do you like to do? Are you a marathoner at all, or are you just pretty much into 5Ks and 10Ks and that sort of thing?
I just run for running. I mean, funny enough, like this year, with all the lockdowns and stuff like that, I didn't get a place in the London Marathon. And I already said that when I was going to do a marathon, I would do it as part of an Ironman. But I was bored. So they pushed the marathon date back to October the 4th. So I decided that I would just do an unregistered marathon, and that was my first one that I did. So I just put on a running backpack with a few gels and some water bottles, and went on the 26.2 mile run round parts of the city. So yeah,
that's pretty good. And you ran by yourself?
Yeah, I ran by myself. That was my first one. I was happy with kind of like the time what I got from Strava, which was I think it was 3:16.
Wow!
So I was
congratulations!
With that.
Yeah, you were moving.
Yeah,
that's a great time.
Yeah,
especially with just out for a run.
Yeah. So you were you had trained up. I mean, you had been training obviously, but it's
I was
But it's kind of like this thing on race day. You know how it is when you get to a race and there's people out there. You tend to, push yourself a bit harder than you normally would. And whether you notice it or not, you always tend to get caught up in the action or the energy of it, and you always seem to finish faster. But man, 3:16, holy smokes, that's a great time.
I'll take it.
Yeah, heck yeah. We're not.
I'll take it too. I'll take it and run with it because I didn't know what I was getting into. Because the furthest run I did like up until that point was like 20 miles. So,
Right.
it was, I was pretty happy with that time, and just completing it. It was just like I guess a thing to do for that day, because a lot of people had quite some time on their hands. So, yeah.
With that time, in your age category, does that qualify you for the Boston Marathon here in the States?
I have no idea. I didn't even check, to be honest with you. So I'm 47.
47?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd easily qualify, I think. Yeah. Wow, man, you're running strong.
So I have no idea. I didn't even think about anything like that. So yeah.
You're not old by any means, but you're kind of at that point though when people say, "Golly, man, he is really moving to be 47 years old." So when you go out to run, do you I guess you're on Strava, so you're keeping up with your times and that sort of thing. You guys have like a running group over there or anything like that? Do you meet up with anybody, or just strictly solo?
So at the moment it's strictly solo. Funny enough, I met a guy that lives not too far from me, down like a couple of blocks down from me. I met him kind of like going through online, through another guy who put stuff up on YouTube. His name is he's pretty well known, a guy from Chicago. His name is Kafuzi. You might have heard of him.
I'm not familiar with him.
He has like some live streams that he's been doing through the COVID period, and he just continued doing it. And there's a bunch of people will go on there and chat. So I kind of met a guy who lives a couple blocks from me, who happens to be on the live stream, and he was training for the marathon too. So I've done a couple of runs with him over the last couple of months, here or there, when we've been allowed to, with the restrictions. But other than that, before that, I used to run with a group, a bunch of tri guys, triathlon guys. And when I lived on the east side of London, we used to go out into this wonderful park in East London called Epping Forest, which is really, really big. It's one of the hidden gems of London, in my opinion. It's a really big forest. Got some really nice runs out there. So about 6 or 7 of us would go out on a Saturday for long runs, and then Sunday we would go for a bike ride. It's kind of like Cambridge or Oxford. So.
Wow, that sounds pretty nice. So what's the weather like there?
Yeah. At the moment, it's actually pretty warm. It was 50 degrees today, so not as warm as probably as the ATL, but not as cool as New York. Yeah. So
we consider 50 degrees cool weather here.
Yeah, that's it. That's
perfect
running weather to me.
Yeah. We're lucky if we get some 40, 50 degree weather, and 40 degrees is my sweet spot. I seem to run better around 40 to 42 degrees. I always love that kind of weather, but it's just a rare for us.
Here in the South, we go from 28 to 75. No in between.
That 28 is like one day. It's just out of nowhere. You get 28 morning, and the next thing you know, it's 75 degrees. Yeah, so you always keep multiple changes of clothes in your car because you don't know what to expect. Except for the summer. The summer is just perpetually a hot box. It's just miserable all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I lived in Maryland for a little while, so I know how hot it gets
nice
when you start getting down south. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Did you run that Inner Harbor area, or were you running then?
No. So I lived in Columbia, Maryland, a little bit outside of the main Maryland area. Gotcha. But I worked in Baltimore for a little while, for about 6 or 7 months.
Were you ever by Towson?
Back in the days when. No. I think I was close in the central part of Baltimore.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's pretty stable.
Yeah, it's pretty down there.
So, what kind of goals do you have? I mean, you got anything in mind? I mean, I know you ran the London Marathon, and have you got some? You said you're a runner, and I tell you that I can kind of relate to that because I actually like the training portion better than I do the racing part of it. I mean, I love the camaraderie and the getting together and the training and all. And I'm not I'll race and do various events and things, but I'm not one of those guys who's at every run or anything like that. But I do like to set me some goals here and there. Have you got anything on your agenda?
Probably do another marathon, but I think I wouldn't mind trying to do an ultra just for the hell of it. Just to see if I could do like a 50 mile run. I know that's a different thing, but I think now because I've got 2 little ones, I think the Ironman thing is kind of being put on the back bench a little bit. So I think that will be the ultra marathon will take precedent, and maybe I'll try one next year, probably like September time.
Do you feel like the running is your strong suit? I mean, if it comes to the Ironman, are you a good cyclist and a good swimmer?
Cycling, I'm pretty decent. Swimming is definitely not my thing. But the funny thing about that was when I first got back into swimming, which was probably like a 15 to 20 year gap, where I didn't even get into a pool very often. I signed up for half Ironman because my buddies signed up for it. Keep in mind that they had all done like Ironmans and multiple Ironmans and half Ironmans and all that sort of stuff. And one around about this time, about 7 years ago, I decided, let me just do one for the heck of it. And I just jumped in at the deep end, and I never actually swam that much before. And then the first time I actually got back into swimming, but the first time I got into the open water, I was like scared out of my mind.
Oh, I would be too. Yeah.
Just really scared out of my mind. But then after a while, I got used to it, got a wetsuit and all that kind of stuff, and then got really used to the swimming in the open water. And I really found swimming in the pool boring. I almost take it to being on the treadmill.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I found the open water swimming quite fun. And that was kind of like the thing what kind of pushed me through. But out of the three, swimming is definitely my worst. And the funny thing about that is that the funny thing about that is I got into the triathlons because I got I had plantar fasciitis, which ended up making me get onto the bike. Mm-hmm. Which, funny enough, one of my managers, because I worked for Nike for a couple of years, he was a big cyclist and he was a big Lance Armstrong fan. And that's how I ended up getting on the bike and cycling, and that's how I ended up kind of like transitioning to do triathlons. But running was actually my forte. But if it wasn't for the plantar fasciitis, I wouldn't have got into everything else. So the cycling came about and the triathlon came about because I had running injuries. So.
Yeah, there's a silver lining in everything, I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, we can kind of relate to that jumping into something. Me and Rob did a double Spartan several years ago. We had a buddy who's a big Spartan guy, all those races, and he asked us to just come along, and we were running, but we wasn't doing anything, along those lines. And we said, sure, we'll do it, not a problem. We did a super on a Saturday and a beast on Sunday, and
a hurt on a Monday.
Yeah, and a hurt. We had fun. It was good,
yeah.
but it was different, I'll say. But it was a good experience. So I enjoy doing those kind of things. But gosh, man, if you want to be good at it, you really got to put some time. It's like anything; you got to put some time and effort into it.
So, do you enjoy running the streets or the trail better?
I would say probably running in the trails and in the parks. I think because of the fact that when I lived in East London, I could literally run out my back door and I could go through a few parks, and then I'll be into like Epping Forest, which, like I said before, is one of the hidden gems of London as far as big park areas. And it's great, I'm sure you guys down in Atlanta have some wonderful parks where you can, or open spaces where you can go running in the forest for miles and miles. So I think, running in the forest, with nature, for me is really, 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 really fun.
Mm-hmm. Hey, now that you're back over in London, what are you seeing is, which I know you've been back for 10 years, but what do you think the biggest difference is? I mean, I know terminology and slang and that sort of stuff is different, but what do you think what's good about it over there as opposed to here and vice versa?
I think when it comes to kind of like, open spaces, as far as living in big cities, that's really a positive. I think, over in the U.S., I think where you guys are a little bit more open-minded to different kinds of sports. Over here it's just basically football, aka soccer. That's the main thing. And then, athletics is thrown in there as a afterthought. So if you're looking from like a running perspective, that's where I would kind of like say the main differences. Then just over here, everything is really small and compact. When you get into really the big cities, I'm used to like a lot of space living in New York. I know it's completely different when you move down south. You have even wider, vaster space. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of like the major difference. I think one of the funny things is that you have the same kind of, I guess, divides in a way where, you know, in the big cities like New York, people from Atlanta would say New Yorkers are not friendly, and when you go down south, the people get a little bit more friendlier, in my opinion. The same thing is in London. I think if I compared London to New York, I would say, in my opinion, Londoners are not as friendly as New Yorkers. But you know, it's just little things like that for me. But
you know, it's interesting.
Depends on what you look. You kind of like really.
It's interesting because, you know, we're Southerners, and of course, you know, we're kind of known as being friendlier and more outgoing, that sort of thing. But, you know, I've been in New York many times, and, you know, the thing I think is a difference there is the people we've dealt with on a one-on-one basis in New York they're fine. They're super nice people, but you just can't talk to everybody. You know, down here it's super easy to pass somebody or you know, and wave at them or say hello or whatever, because you just don't see the quantity of people. But when you're in New York, and it's just an endless barrage of people coming at you down the street, and, you know, and plus you don't know anybody. You know, down here we kind of, you know, we're kin, or somebody knows somebody, or we got some idea of who we're dealing with, or something. There's some sense of community. But in New York, you know, it's nothing like that whatsoever. And maybe in London too, you know. And I think that's why people just don't speak. It just doesn't make sense, you know.
Well, I was listening to it. They talk about the more compact and more, you know, people per square, you know, mile there are, the more people become less friendly, because there's more, I think there's more stress.
Got no privacy, I guess. Yeah.
There's more stress, there's more anxiety, there's more everything bombarding you, you know. And so that's what their theory was, the amount of, you know, because there was a guy who wrote a book on how the United States should have 3 times as many people. So, you know, they're talking about the United States have 1 billion people. Yeah. And then they started talking about, you know, dissecting the cities, and, you know, why people are more friendly, less friendly, because there's a big movement that people are moving out of the larger areas in the United States. And they're saying, you know what, people are just more friendly outside.
Yeah.
When there's not as many of them. Like, I mean, if you have to drive on, you know, the you know, I don't know what it is in New York or somewhere where you have to drive into the city, and there's cars bumper to bumper, take you an hour and a half to get, you know, a couple miles. You know, you're flipping people off and everything else.
I never drove in New York, but I can tell you it takes an hour to go from LaGuardia to the city. I mean, I don't know why, but it takes an hour from the airport. Every time I've ever been, it takes an hour to get to the city.
So it's just that compression of people that puts people on edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's the same thing in the UK.
And you know what? If people were out running instead of driving their cars, there'd be less cars. Yeah. More endorphins out there.
People love their cars, though. You know, people love their cars.
Yeah, that's American.
Because I wouldn't attempt driving in New York. I mean, I just wouldn't do it. I mean, it's just too easy to get around. You know, they've got too much transportation there to try to even think about driving. I mean, at least that's me. How about you, Mr. Random? Did you drive a car, or did you just take the train?
Yeah, I drove a car in New York for. Actually, no, I didn't actually. I drove mostly when I was living in Maryland and stuff like that. Most of the time in New York, I didn't have a car. Didn't see the point of it, like you said. And it's the same thing in London. There's no point really having a car in London. Like my partner, she lives out in. Her parents are from like a town, a small village out in the Midlands, kind of like a place. The biggest city there is called Peterborough or Leicester. It's a really nice area. It's kind of like you know, one of those villages, like one of those Downton Abbey kind of villages, so to speak. And like you guys were saying, the people in the village are much more friendlier. You can say hi to them. You know, and they always have a chat with you. It's similar to what you were saying with your experiences traveling to like the big cities like New York. You know, it's just the volume of people in London. It does make it a little bit harder to be friendlier or more welcoming. But I think I've just kind of like taken a little bit of the down south mentality, and I brought it back to the UK with me, and I kind of still expect people to be as friendly. Because when I lived on my block on New York, everybody knew everybody. We would say hi to everybody. You know, all the older people, the mature people. When I was a kid, they knew all of us, and kind of like, you know, if we was being bad little kids, they would kind of like put us in check and stuff like that. So it was, a little bit different.
Hey, how much different is like the music scene there and movies and things like that? I mean, is it are you basically kind of seeing what we're seeing here, or is the trend a little bit different?
I think with the whole rise of social media and things like that, it's made it kind of like, a little bit more seamless. As far as like the music scene is pretty much the same. Yes, we have different kind of like a little bit different genres. Like there's like garage and drum and bass, which that's kind of like more of a UK kind of scene, and I know that it's kind of like filtered a little bit over to the US, but I really don't kind of like, it's more of the younger kids kind of music. But as far as movies and stuff, we get stuff maybe the same time as you guys, maybe a couple of weeks or later. One of the most frustrating things for me is I'm a big American football fan, and I love the NBA. But, I don't have the same feeling because we have like the 5 or 6 hour difference, or it might be on tape delay, so we might get it a day later.
Right.
Or I have to stay up until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning to watch the game live. And I miss like college basketball and and college football. Yeah.
So you probably don't have many mutual fans or friends into that either over there, do you? I mean, you're basically having to cheer for him by yourself.
No, well, I have 1 or 2 friends who are big into the NBA.
Yeah, probably NBA.
Yeah,
NBA is global.
Yeah. Guys that when I used to work for Nike, were big into the NBA. I have one friend was a basketball coach. He coaches basketball, which it was kind of cool.
But football, yeah, they probably. But you know what? They play games over there in London.
Yeah, I mean, I know that
yeah.
over there. Yeah.
Have you been to any of those games, or is that a big deal when the NFL comes to town?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like they have like I would say down Regent Street, which I would say is similar to like going down like Times Square area. They'll have like big banners and stuff promoting the NFL. Also, because of Nike sponsors the NFL, they have a lot of NFL apparel when they're coming to town. Because Nike Town is in the smack middle of London and on the Regent Street, which is like our major shopping area. It's like 34th Street, really, in London. So, yeah, they make a big deal of it. And then also my soccer team or football team, as we say in England, Tottenham Hotspur, they've kind of like, when they built their new stadium, they made it so that they can host NFL games. So, yeah.
What's your favorite
it's a
soccer
big deal.
team?
It's a big deal when they game.
I was going to ask you.
It's actually Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, I'm a Stoke City guy.
So you follow?
Stoke? Okay.
No, but if there's a place called Stoke City, I would be stoked to go there. So that's the only reason I like Stoke City.
Hey, I know.
I hear big things about Arsenal. See, this is
that's another long.
Man, y'all are talking out of my league right now. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
about
I think my nephew, he's a big Arsenal guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, who's your NBA team and your NFL team?
So I'm a mixture. So my NBA team is the Knicks.
Yeah. New York, yeah.
And then it's the Giants, but I'm a big Denver Broncos fan. The reason why is because when I was living in the States, one of my biggest NFL guys is John Elway, and one of the best games I've ever seen was Cleveland Browns, The Drive.
I remember
Bernie
that.
Kosar. That's the game. So I'm a big Denver Broncos fan.
Yeah, Elway won 2 or 3 championships, didn't he? Eventually.
2.
I mean,
Yeah.
won 2. Yeah.
Eventually. So I was a big Broncos fan when they was losing back to back Super Bowls. So.
You're a real fan.
Yeah.
But you think about how many in the championships he went to, and I mean, he was amazing.
We thought he was going to be another Marino for a while there. He just couldn't seem to get it. But then, of course, he turned it on. I mean, they gelled.
Not a great front office guy, but
yeah.
now I'm just hating on him.
Hey, are you watching that thing? Or are you, Rob? Are you watching this? Or either one of you watching this thing on Netflix about the Bulls?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
About Michael?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
that.
Oh, super
Last
interesting.
Dance. Is it called Last Dance?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
Last Dance.
Yeah. When I was out with COVID, I was just watching whatever. So yeah, I started watching that.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Man, I was loving it. Yeah, I was enjoying it.
Nobody messes with Michael. Michael's undefeated.
Well, I know a lot of people love LeBron, and that's cool. But I still, it may be because he was more my era. But Michael to me was just the best. I mean,
LeBron is great. LeBron is
no
probably
doubt.
LeBron is the greatest athlete, freak of nature that's played in the NBA. But he does not have the will or the want or the drive
you think?
that Michael has. Michael would do whatever it took. I'm talking about whatever it took.
Well, you figure, and he willed it to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he pulled those guys in the line, and he willed it to happen. I mean, just a phenomenal guy. To watch
but it's
play.
and it was a different time back then. It was a different scene. You weren't on Instagram, and you weren't on social media like you are now. So, I mean, he didn't have as many outside influences or people in his ear, or you got to do this, you got to do that, and so I think that played a big part of it. But yeah, Michael's the guy. Kobe was the next guy.
Yeah.
Michael and Kobe, they were from the same cloth. They were from the same. I want the ball. I'm gonna win or I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
And if you're not in it 100%, get the heck out of the way.
Hey, you can probably tell we've wandered into Rob's territory. He's a big basketball fan.
And you know what? That's just if you could build the ultimate competitor, it would look like Michael Jordan. That would in his. I mean, he was a great athlete, but he wasn't oversized. He was 6'6". He was a spectacular athlete, but when he came into the league, he wasn't that great a shooter. He developed the shot because he didn't want to miss. He hated missing more than he liked making. He hated losing more than he liked winning.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset.
I still remember when he decided to dunk less. Remember, and he was going to play more defense. When he said, "I'm going to play more defense, I'm going to amp up my defense." I mean, the guy just knew what it took to win. I mean, he did what was necessary.
And so, I mean, he was a leader, and we have very few of those these days. I think LeBron's a leader in his own right, and I don't think with today's personalities he can lead like Michael led. I mean, because people would get their feelings hurt and they would go, kick rocks. Yeah. Michael would be like, "Go kick rocks. I don't care."
Hey, Mr. Random, I got to ask you, where the name Mr. Random? That really caught my attention. We interviewed Peachrunner, and she, interviewing her kind of introduced us to some other people. And when I saw yours, I kind of got to thinking. I said, "Gosh, this mentality is kind of like ours a little bit, I think." But I'll let you tell us what it's all about, and then we'll see if we're on the same page.
So basically, when I moved back, one of the girls that I kind of took a shine to, she said I used to just make up random stuff or just make random comments. I think it's more of the humor side of things, where because I grew up in New York, my sense of humor was more Americanized. So I would say random things, and they wouldn't kind of get the humor. So that's where it came out. As well. Yeah, not as proper, and probably a little bit direct with some things. And they were kind of like, "Okay, you shouldn't really have said that," or "That really wasn't appropriate."
Do you ever?
Yeah, that's how that came about.
Do you ever just tell people, say, "Oh, that's the New York coming out in me"? That's just New York.
Yeah.
I had a lady here in Valdosta, and she was like, there was this kid standing up in front of her, and she's like, "Sit down." And the other lady's like looking at her like, "What?" She's like, "It's okay, I'm from New York." It's okay, I'm from New York.
Yeah. So it's that.
Yeah, you would fit in. So that's how. You would fit in perfectly with us because we're kind of out. You'd fit in perfectly with us. We're kind of that same way too. And my wife looks at me sometimes, and I think she wonders where I'm coming from. But
yeah.
But that's funny. Hey, how many miles you running a week?
Roughly about 45 now. Roughly, I think last week I did like 55. I did it by accident, but to be honest with you, I did like 55. The goal was to do 50. I just said I'll do 50, just to see if I could do 50.
But then you had to go home, then you had to run home, so you might as well go extra 55.
yeah. So I did 50, but the plan is in January is to try to do a red January. I guess that's running every day for like for every day of the month. I guess I don't know how these people do like these 365-day streaks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
me either.
That sounds like a good goal. Run every day January.
Yeah. You ran for like a year, didn't you?
Yeah.
It wasn't a year. It was about half a year.
Yeah.
And then it was raining. It was raining outside, and I said, that streak's over.
6 months.
So what was the shortest distance?
Well,
what was the shortest distance that you?
The shortest
ran
distance,
in that streak?
I don't get out of bed unless I'm running 3.5. I mean, you
Okay,
know what? When
you.
I had that streak going, I'm like, I could go out there and run half a mile and run half a mile back. But really, is that a run, or is that just? I mean, just running for streak's sake, or I just.
Yeah.
If you don't run, I mean,
I don't see
people, in running groups, they're like, oh, well, who wants to get together to have a group run? I need to run a mile. I'm like, I'm not getting out of bed or driving somewhere or meeting anybody for 1 mile.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. See, that was my take on it. So I looked up, I think a couple of days ago, I looked up on the internet, just Googled like what would be the shortest distance you could run for a streak, and it said 1 mile. And I had the same attitude as you. I was like, there's no point in me doing that. Yeah. The minimum, if I'm going to do this, it's going to be 3 miles, the minimum, because it's just kind of like putting on the clothes, you get it sweaty, you have to come back home, you have to take a shower. It's like, why bother?
Right, yeah. I definitely feel the same. I ran, and I'm not a straight guy at all, but back when COVID was at its height here, I ran 31 days straight to see if I could make the month, and I didn't run anything any less than like 4. Yeah. Pretty much every day was 6 miles. I think I ran a 4 mile day twice.
Which those 100 days, I was running mostly 6 miles a day.
Yeah.
That's and right now.
I'm not knocking. Yeah,
sure,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm not knocking anybody who's kind of got a streak and they ran a half a mile or a mile. But just for me, my own personal thing, I wouldn't do it. But whoever does like 365 days or whatever it is, or something really, really long. That's amazing. Yeah. Good on them. So.
Yeah, it's a feat, but it's just not the one that would make me get out of bed on a rainy day or a cold, wet, rainy day, just to keep a streak alive. But
yeah, not just to keep a streak alive. No. Hey, I guess we're going to go ahead and call it today. It's Rob's birthday. And I think he's got some plans.
Okay, happy birthday!
Oh, thank you.
He's merely 41 years old. So
I'm a young buck.
I say it's happy born day, not happy birthday.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, happy born day.
That's good. Yeah. Hey, I was going to ask you.
I hope you have many more.
Oh, thank you,
man. We have really enjoyed talking with you. I'd like to know if maybe we could have you come back sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I would love to talk to you guys about things running, how the running scene is in ATL.
There's a lot of things that I didn't even get to ask you, Megan, or any of the royal bunch over there.
Oh,
there's your answer. We can say that for a future conversation. I tell you what,
that's when we get to those random thoughts.
Exactly. Hey, we shoot the breeze on here. You notice we shoot the breeze. We just love to talk, and we love to get runners on here and talk. And we like to talk about the grit of it and the crux of it. But at the same time, we like to just have a good time. But man, we have certainly enjoyed talking to you. And if you don't mind, I'll reach out to you again, and we'll get you back on and spend some more time talking.
That sounds great. Wonderful. Thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, before we let you go, let me ask you one thing. What did we go wrong today? Did we not get the link to you?
What?
Did you not ever get the link?
I got the link, but then I didn't get the code.
Oh, okay.
Okay, gotcha.
We'll work on that.
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Zoom is still new to us.
Don't worry about it. It's new to me, too.
Okay. All righty. Well, we appreciate you stopping in, and wonderful to have somebody calling from across the pond. We're international now.
One more question.
Okay.
What's your real name?
Yes, sir.
What's your real name?
Simon.
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 Okay.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, Simon, simple Simon, right? I better not say that, but yeah, it's simple. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome, man. Great.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and we can follow you on Strava. What's your Strava?
It's Mr. Random.
Mr. Random on Strava. All right, I'll have because I love to anybody who visits the show. I love to follow them on Strava, see what they're doing, and and if they want to, they can see what I'm not doing, or at least how slow I'm doing it.
Yeah, maybe you can inspire him a little bit.
I love you. I love you guys. I love you guys' tagline. I love it, man.
Well, it's so true. It's so true of us.
That's the story of our lives.
Yeah. Simon, thanks a million.
Undertrained and overconfident.
Simon,
Yeah.
hey, what? Hey,
Sounds
what?
like me.
I'm sorry, but I got one more question. What time is it there?
Right now it is now 11:12 p.m.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're probably ready to go to bed, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good night, Mr. Random, and
All right,
we
thank you,
appreciate you
guys.
coming in.
Thanks a million. Have a
All
great
right.
one.
Thanks.
All right, take it easy.
All right.
So long.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we got started. We had a good day.
Man, that was good.
I just turned on your mic. I meant to turn
Okay.
down the
No, okay.
volume. On
Hey,
the phone.
I enjoyed that. That was great.
I'm glad we finally got him in.
Yeah, me too.
And,
Super interesting.
I wish we would have had another half hour with him. But next time we're gonna have to definitely plan on him because he's just cool. He shoots the breeze.
Yeah, man, he's a
And-
great. I'd love to run with a guy like that.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, yeah,
we
he'd be
would.
a cool guy to run with.
We would have
for sure. Yeah,
It would make the marathon training easy.
yeah.
You know.
I mean, he'd be like a mile ahead of us, but I mean,
Yeah. So, but all right. Until next time, you are working next week, and
I'm back at it.
Maybe we can get sometime in between Christmas and New Year's. If not, we're going to start the new year off right.
right. Just a holiday edition.
You know
so-
what? Everything else, 2021 is going to be the best year ever
Absolutely.
compared to 2020.
That's right, man. So everybody out there, I mean, and if you're listening now, listening later, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And,
Yeah.
thanks.
Happy
thanks,
Hanukkah.
Thanks a million. Thanks for
Feliz
listening.
Navidad.
Absolutely. Yep.
All righty, and we'll talk at y'all later.
All right. Take care.